I'm Amudha. I'm working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research, Chennai. So today we're going to see about the subject artificial intelligence, and the topic is natural language processing. So today's agenda is what is NLP, that is natural language processing, and we're going to see what are the applications of NLP and the components of NLP. So there are different components of NLP are natural language understanding and natural language generation. So this is for today's agenda. So we'll be seeing one by one. So the first is human language. See, everyone knows different types of languages are in the world, and humans are the one who used to talk all those languages. So currently we have 6,500 languages in the world, and one has to communicate. Language is a basic thing, and one is communicating to another one. So both has to know the same language. So that is the basic concept. So even when you're trying to make a computer to understand the languages, you have to make it to understand. So that is what we're going to do with NLP. So next is in the year 21st century. So everything is done with the data. So data we know, right? So when you take social medias like Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So what are the other social websites when you take? So everything is full and full of data, right? So whatever we communicate, so is everything is stored as data. So there comes the concept of big data. So and the data will be in the forms of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. So the process is in NLP, what is the major task is? So whatever the computer has to understand, it has to know what language it is. So that is what here the concept of data comes. Next is text mining in NLP. See, I said it's a language. So the basic language we people talk and can understand is English. So obviously we have to know, right? So what is text and what is text mining? What is text analysis and how text mining and NLP go hand in hand. So the reason is first. So text mining or text analysis is you're just deriving some meaningful information from the natural language text. See example, any sentence is given or any sentence is present, you're extracting information. Okay, that is the text mining and NLP. So what is NLP? That is what we're going to see now. So and this is the part of computer science engineering and the artificial intelligence which deals with the human language. So this NLP is a combination of different domains like computer science, human language, and artificial intelligence. So the major task is, so whatever we're gonna do is will be in the natural language. So that's why, and this language will be in the form of text. So that is the reason why text mining and NLP go hand in hand. The next. So next is we're going to see with the applications of NLP. So I said NLP is a natural language processing. We have many day-to-day examples and applications of NLP. So we'll see one by one. The first and the known is the sentiment analysis. So sentiment analysis, any idea about it? Okay, I'll see. So sentiment analysis, you guys are aware of your Facebook and or other social medias, right? So whenever you want to react to something or you like a post or you don't like a post in your Facebook, you always give the smiley or emojis. That is the sentiment analysis, and the research work has been going on the sentiment analysis. So based on the emoji you give, it says your mindset. Okay, that is the sentiment analysis. Next is the chatbot. So chatbot, you as you guys know, the chatbot is see, you guys want to know something, or you're just surfing any website, organization website. When you have any doubts or you want to query, you'll have a separate chat box. So when you ask a question, when you query something, you will get an immediate reply. That is the chat bot. Okay. Next is speech recognition. So all you guys will be aware of it. So speech recognition. So speech recognition is the best example for iOS users is a Siri, and for other users is a Alexa. So whatever you say, the action will be performed. That is the speech recognition. Next is machine translation. The best example is Google Translate. So whatever the language you want to translate from one language to another, with the help of Google Translate, you can use. Okay. So this is the examples of or applications of NLP. So next is spell checking. So you guys will be seeing it. You have in your Gmail, when you try to spell out something wrong, it will correct you, right? So that is the spell checking that is done with the help of NLP, and it's one of the major examples of NLP, that is natural language processing. And keyword search. The best example is Google search. So whenever you give any keyword like engineering or computer science, or if you give food, or if you give fruits, whatever the names you give in a keyword search, it will be displaying in the first in a Google search engine. Okay. Next is information extraction. The same thing. When you try to search something in a Google, right? So all the data, all the information have been stored in a Google engine. So whatever you want. So for example, in our college or in our department, we are maintaining the every student record. So when I go with the second year, that data has been recorded for all the second year. When I go with the third year, all the data has been recorded for the third year. And when I go for the final year, all the data of final year students have been recorded. So as of my requirement is now to extract only the final year information. So for the information I need, only that will be extracted. Okay, that is the best example of information extraction. Next is advertisement matching. So these you guys would have faced. See, when we buy something on the Flipkart or Amazon, and again when you try to go and surf the social media or any um, and social medias like a Facebook, WhatsApp, or any other platforms like Instagram and YouTube. So you will get a pop-up ad or all these items what you have purchased recently or viewed recently will be coming on your Facebook page, WhatsApp page, or YouTube page. So this is another best examples of applications of NLP. So next, so far we have seen with what is NLP, that is natural language processing, and what are the applications, and now we go see with the components of NLP. So the components of NLP. So you have two types of components of NLP, that is natural language understanding, that is the first component. The second component is natural language generation. So we'll see first what is natural language understanding. So before going to the main components of these NLP, there is always a question or a fact we used to say, right? So that is, people always used to say natural language understanding is difficult and harder to understand than the natural language generation. We'll see why. See, so why NL, that is natural language understanding, is harder. So here this natural language is extremely rich in form and structure and very ambiguous. So ambiguous in the sense it will be very difficult in understanding the meaning. We'll see that an example, and which structures map to the which meaning. So these are all the problems we always face with the natural language understanding. See, this one basic example. If I try to say or convey something to a person A, if the person convey that to person B, that conveys to person C. So what happens? The meaning changes. So the content will be the same. The way they understand, the way they express to other changes. Okay. So that is what the problem even with a computer. So whatever the human is trying to say or do with it has to understand in the exact way. Okay, so that here comes to be the major problem. So ambiguity refers to a different thing and different levels. We'll see what are those. So in the word level, that is in the lexical level, we will face ambiguity. Okay, that is the different meanings of a word. The next, syntactic ambiguity. So syntactic ambiguity in the sense we will face those in the when we pass the sentence. Pass in the sense will be separating it. Okay. Next is interpreting partial information. So how to interpret a verb, noun, pronoun. So all these comes under the interpreting partial information. Next is contextual information. So contextual information, whether the context of the sentence affect the remaining part of a sentence. Okay. So these are all the major things but that is difficult, which makes the NL understanding is harder. Okay. So next, so ambiguity. So the major problem with the natural language understanding is ambiguity. So see the sentence, I made a duck. So how many different interpretations means how many different explanation, how many reasons, or how many messages the sentence trying to convey is I made a duck. There are multiple ways, so it depends upon each one reads in a way and understands in a way. So this is called to be the ambiguity. So the sentence is given, I made her duck, but the sentence has a multiple meanings. That is called ambiguity. So we'll see. And what are the reasons for ambiguity? Okay, we have to sort it out. And there are different categories of knowledge of the language that can be used for solving the ambiguity and how it can be resolved. Okay, we'll be seeing that. Let's see here. Some interpretations of this, I made a duck. Okay, so what are the interpretations that we can obtain by reading the sentence or reading the example? So I cooked a duck for her. So this can be the one type of interpretation. And the second is I cooked a duck belonging to her. This is the second type of interpretation. And the third is I created a toy duck which she owns. Okay. So this is another interpretation. I caused her to quickly lower her head or body. And I used magic and turned her into a duck. So these are all the different types of interpretations that can be obtained from a sentence. That is, I made her duck. So now, so we have to solve this ambiguity. So what are the ways? So how to resolve that? So first is duck. So whether I have to check whether that is a noun or a verb. Okay. The next her. So whether that is a dative or possessive, whether I can say that to be an indirect or it's a possessive form. The next is make. It's like cook or create. And the next is make. So when you go with the sentence two, it says that transitive. When you go with the interpretations of five, so it is right transitive, it takes into two object. When you go with the fourth sentence, so it takes as a direct object and a verb. So these are the problems we face, not we, even the computer faces. Okay. So that is the problem with the natural language understanding, and that's why it is harder. And in order to resolve this, we're gonna see the step-by-step process. Okay. Yes. So in natural language understanding, we have all these process, that is six types of process in order to solve that. Okay. So first is tokenization, and second is stemming, next is lemmatization, next is POS tags, that is called parts of speech tags. The next is named entity recognition. The next is chunking. So these are the process or steps that comes under the natural language understanding in order to avoid those ambiguity or avoid those such problems such as being faced by the computer. Okay. So next is first step of the natural language understanding is the tokenization. So the tokenization is the process of splitting up the given sentences into individual words called tokens. So that is what you're going to do. For example, you can take this as a sentence as an example. Tokenization is the first step in NLP is a one sentence. So what we're going to do is we have gone make the sentence into tokens. So we're going to break it into words. The first token is tokenization, the second token is and the third is the fourth token is first, the next is token is step, the next token is end, and the next token is NLP. Okay, so this is how the tokenization process works. So the first step in NLP is natural language processing. And here what we're going to do is when a sentence is given, we are breaking up the sentence into individual tokens or individual words called tokens. Next, see here, this is the result of tokenization. Next, so the second step is stemming. So once tokenization is process is done, we are going with the stemming process. So stemming is that we are normalizing the words into some base form or root form. When you give any sentence or when you give a huge passage for conversion using Google Translate, so the Google Translate has to read everything and it has to convert it, right? In that case, it will be checking the all these things. So whether there are base words or not. So in the process of stemming, what this NLP does is it will check for the basic word or the root word. So for example, see here, affectation, affects, affection, affected, affection, and affecting. So for all these, which is common, so they affect. So this affect is called to be the base word or root word. So in stemming process, what happens? So we are finding or we are identifying the basic form of word or a root word from the given sentence. Okay, this is the second step. So what is the first step? The first step in natural language understanding is we are going with the tokenization. So which means that the sentence given has been divided into smaller parts called tokens. The next, once the words are tokenized, the second process is stemming. So in stemming, you're just normalizing your words or you're just identifying the base form of word or the root word. So the example is affection, affects, affection, affected, affection, and affecting. So the base word is affect. Likewise, you can, she is eating, she ate, and she drove, she was driving. So the base word is drive and the base word is eat. So this is the process of stemming. Next, so lemmatization. So once the first two processes are done, the third process is with lemmatization. So lemmatization means that you are grouping a similar type of words called lemma. So here, so this process is similar to stemming, but it matches with a similar group of words. So, for examples, gone, going, went, all these will be grouped into go. Okay. So this is similar parts of stemming, but the lemmatization, what it happens, it just maps all the words, like similar words like gone, going, went into go. So this is the grouping. Okay, so in stemming, so what we do, we just identify the root word. But in lemmatization, we are grouping the similar words. Okay, so be clear with these two. So as of now, we have seen with the three process of NLP understanding, that is natural language understanding. The first is tokenization, and the second is stemming, and the third is lemmatization. So the first process is when a sentence is given, we are breaking the sentence into tokens. Then second process is we are identifying the root word or the base form of word. The next is we are grouping the similar words. So three processes be done. So next is POS tag. So POS is parts of speech. So you guys would have learned in when you were in childhood in English grammar classes, you would have learned. So what are prepositions, verb, active, adjacent, passive, tenses, and relatives, noun, pronoun, adjective, definite article, indefinite article, adverb, so determinant, determiner. So all these things will come under parts of speech tag. So when a sentence is given, you will be identifying whether that is a noun, pronoun, a verb, or determiner, everything. So that is the major task has been doing under the POS tag. Okay. So next, so see the example for the POS tag. So Google something on the internet. So here, how you will be saying this, whether this is an action or this is a noun, what? So if I say you guys can search something in Google and Google something on the internet. So what is the thing? So Google, actually the both sentence gives the same meaning, but the verb and the noun changes. So Google something is like an action and search something on the Google is a noun. Okay. So next. So after the four steps, the fifth is named entity recognition. So we get the sentences. So here we gonna name each and everything given in the sentence. Okay. So this is the fifth step. So as of now, we have covered with the first is the tokenization. The second is stemming. The third is what? lemmatization, and the fourth is parts of speech tag, and the fifth is named entity recognition. So named entity recognition will be naming each and everything that is given in the sentence. That can be the movie name, monetary value, maybe for example, this much it costs, and this much it took, and this much amount we have paid, and the smart, hello, what we can say that share market value, all these things. An organization name, location, which place you're located in, so name of the place, and quantities, how many quantities, what are the name of a quantities available, and the name of a person. So these are all the comes under named entity recognition. So in named entity recognition, what we'll be doing is, so we will be naming everything which is be given in the sentence. Okay. So see the example, Google CEO Sundar Pichai introduced the new Pixel 3 at New York Central Mall. So you have to name each and everything. So this is what the named entity recognition does. So here Google is the organization name, and Sundar Pichai is a person name, and New York is a location name, Central Mall is an organization. So this is how whenever the sentence is given, so it performs the first process, tokenization, then it goes with the second process, that is stemming, and it goes with the third process, that is lemmatization, and the fourth process is parts of speech, and the fifth process, it goes with the named entity recognition. So here each and everything will be named. Next is sixth. So the sixth part is chunking. So here, so what we do in the last part is picking up individual pieces of information and grouping them into bigger pieces. So at last, when we do all these things, right, we will get the entire exact sentence or the meaning of a sentence. That is the chunk. So all these things we have in the previous process, everything will be in the different small words. You're grouping that the small words into bigger pieces, and then you will be getting the sentence so that the computer can understand. So here the ambiguity is not involved, and we have reduced the ambiguity, and that is why the process of all these have been implemented in order to remove that, in order to make the computer has to understand what we are trying to say to the computer. Okay, so this is the last part of the natural language understanding. So here, the example of chunking is, so we caught the pink panther. So here, so first is a pronoun, the second caught is a verb, there is a determiner, and the pink is an adjective, and panther is again noun. So what we are grouping is here, the V is a noun. So you're grouping it that to be the noun phrase. The second is the pink panther again comes to be the noun phrase. The pink panther is a name, right? So even they're grouping that to be the noun phrase. So at the end, we get the chunk, we perform the chunk. So here we got the pink panther. Okay, that's it. So we have completed with the chunking. So this is the process that has been performing under natural language understanding. So actually these are the components of natural language processing. We have two major components, that is natural language understanding and natural language generation. So natural language understanding, we have 6 steps. The first one is tokenization, the second one is stemming, and the third one is uh, lemmatization, and the fourth one is parts of speech tag, and the fifth one is named entity recognition, and the sixth is chunking. Okay, as of this, so we have done with the natural language understanding. Next is natural language generation. So here first we understand the process of natural language, then we go with the generation. That is the second part. So in the generation, so we just generate all these and give the results. Oh, okay. So here, all these generation can be done with the Python programming languages or the language which we need. Okay. So, so here, so for implementing this generation of NLP, the Python has got a natural language toolkit. So with the help of that, so we can perform the generation. So that's it. So natural language processing is a basic introduction of that. So I guess we have done for today, and thank you.